The knock came at precisely midnight, 3 sharp raps that echoed through the empty workshop like hammer strikes on steel. Jasper fumbled with the latch, his calloused hands clumsy from exhaustion, while 6-month-old Maya wailed against his shoulder. The baby had been crying for 2 hours straight, and nothing, not the rocking, not the singing, not the desperate pacing, would soothe her. When the door swung open, Jasper found himself staring at something his tired mind struggled to process. She stood nearly 7 feet tall, her scales shimmering like molten copper in the dim light of Mars's twin moons. Eleanor, though he wouldn't learn her name for several more minutes, was a Drakari, one of the dragon-descended warriors whose empire had ruled a quarter of the galaxy for 3,000 years. Her wings were folded tight against her back, membranes translucent enough to reveal the intricate bone structure beneath. Eyes like burning amber fixed on him, then dropped to the crying infant. "I seek employment," she said in perfect Terran standard, her voice a low rumble that seemed to vibrate through the floor. "Your advertisement said you needed assistance immediately." Jasper blinked. He'd posted that ad 6 weeks ago when Sarah had first gotten sick. Before the funeral, before his entire world had collapsed into this endless cycle of dirty diapers, sleepless nights, and a failing repair business he couldn't manage alone. "It's midnight," he said stupidly, bouncing Maya in a rhythm that had stopped working hours ago. The posting did not specify business hours. Eleanor tilted her head, studying him with an intensity that made him acutely aware of his stained shirt and unwashed hair. "You are in distress. My daughter won't stop crying." I can't," Jasper's voice cracked. "I don't know what's wrong." What happened next would become the stuff of legend in the outer colonies, though Jasper wouldn't learn about it until years later. Eleanor, daughter of Warlord Kethris the Undefeated, decorated veteran of the siege of Proxima Station, who had killed 17 enemy soldiers with her bear claws during the Battle of Europa. Eleanor stepped forward and gently took the crying baby from his arms. "She has gas," the dragon woman announced, positioning Maya against her scaled shoulder with surprising delicacy. Human infants are notoriously inefficient digestive systems. One must apply pressure here. She demonstrated, her massive hand spanning the baby's entire back, patting with a gentleness that seemed impossible from a creature who could tear through starship hull plating. While maintaining an elevated position, Maya burped. Then, miraculously, she stopped crying. The silence was so sudden and complete that Jasper thought he might be hallucinating. Eleanor looked down at the now peaceful infant with what might have been satisfaction, though it was difficult to read expressions on a face so alien. "You are a mechanic," she stated, glancing past him into the workshop. "Fusion drives, primarily. Some terraforming equipment. How did you—" "I can smell the ionized particles. Also, your knuckles bear the characteristic scarring of radiation burns poorly healed. You do not take sufficient precautions." She fixed him with a disapproving stare that reminded him uncomfortably of his grandmother. "I'm qualified to assist. I have 17 years of experience maintaining military spacecraft and another 9 with heavy industrial machinery." Jasper should have been suspicious. The Drakari Empire and human space had been at war for decades before the recent armistice. Even now, 3 years after the ceasefire, tensions ran high. Dragon people didn't just show up on human colony worlds looking for work in repair shops, but Maya was sleeping peacefully against Eleanor's shoulder, and Jasper hadn't slept in 36 hours, and the Martian governor's office had a dozen terraforming rigs that needed servicing by the end of the week, or he'd lose the contract that was keeping this entire operation afloat. "Why?" he asked. "Why here?" "Why me?" Eleanor was quiet for a long moment, her inner eyelids flickering closed and open in what he would later learn was the Drakari equivalent of a sigh. "The war ended poorly for my people. The Empire is diminished. Many of us are now what you might call refugees. I was told humans sometimes give second chances to those who ask. Who told you that?" "Everyone." Something that might have been a smile crossed her reptilian features. "It is apparently your species' most irritating quality. You are inexplicably, irrationally hopeful. You rebuild what is destroyed. You welcome what others would destroy. It makes you weak according to Imperial strategic doctrine." She looked down at Maya again, but perhaps the doctrine was incorrect. Jasper made a decision that would change everything. 40 credits an hour, 6-hour shifts to start, flexible scheduling because I've got to take care of Maya. "You know anything about fusion coupling assemblies?" I designed them for Imperial dreadnoughts. Right, stupid question, he rubbed his face. There's a cot in the back if you need somewhere to sleep. It's not much, but I require little. Thank you. Eleanor transferred the sleeping baby back to him with exquisite care. I should begin familiarizing myself with your inventory. The governor's rigs will require complete diagnostic scans before we can begin repairs. She was already moving into the workshop, her tail swaying behind her in a way that somehow avoided knocking over any of the precariously stacked equipment. Jasper stared after her, his daughter warm and finally quiet in his arms, and wondered if exhaustion had finally driven him completely insane. It hadn't. Over the following months, Eleanor proved herself invaluable. She could work for 16 hours straight without tiring, her claws perfect for manipulating small components, her strength essential for heavy lifting. More importantly, she seemed to possess an instinctive understanding of machinery that bordered on supernatural. Under her guidance, the business not only survived but thrived. She also, though neither of them discussed it, became something like family. She knew Maya's feeding schedule better than Jasper did. She had opinions about which baby food brands were nutritionally optimal. She could get Maya to sleep through the night when nothing else worked, humming strange Drakari lullabies in a language older than human spaceflight. On the anniversary of Sarah's death, Jasper found Eleanor in the workshop at dawn, carefully assembling a mobile for Maya's crib from polished starship components. She looked up, caught him watching, and said nothing. She didn't need to. Humans, the Drakari High Command had declared, were weak because of their inexplicable compassion, because they insisted on second chances, on rebuilding, on hope in the face of logic. Standing in his workshop at sunrise, watching a dragon woman create toys for his daughter while the red Martian dust swirled outside, Jasper thought perhaps weakness wasn't the right word at all. Perhaps it was strength they'd never understood.